biggest challenges with compensating remote employees, particularly those that are working overseas, is figuring out what's the going rate. If you're going into a country where you have no experience, it can be very, very difficult to figure out how much to pay per hour or per month of work. I like to go on Quora and ask a question to the crowd to sort of get feedback based on what are other people paying in this country. I also like to look on marketplaces like Odesk to see what other people are paying for particular tasks in the country. And to get a broad sense of what people are earning in the country, you can go to the CIA World Factbook and get a sense of what the per capita GDP is. Next, you need to figure out what your payment method is going to be. So you can use a site like Odesk or Elance and they'll facilitate payment for you, but they'll also take a 10% cut of everything you're paying your employees. So that's an important thing to be aware of. If you have a close enough relationship with your employees, I recommend using a service like Zoom or even potentially a wire transfer for a bank for a bigger transfer, because they're going to charge you a flat rate for every single transfer that you send to that employee. And lastly, it's very important that you get proper legal advice when you're building a remote work team. In the US, it's always required that you do a 1099 and sometimes even a W-2 for a remote worker. Internationally, the rules range. For example, in Bangladesh, remote workers don't have to pay any taxes, but in other countries it's a little less certain. So I recommend you consult a lawyer both in the US and potentially in that country to really figure out what the rules and regulations are before building out that remote work team. So make sure you know what you're going to pay, make sure you figure out how you're going to pay it, and make sure you're complying with all the laws before you go out and build a remote work team.